Next thing I know, Yaniv pulls out a bank envelope and he slams it on the table. He goes, "There's 25 grand right there. I'll buy it from you right now." My friend looks at me. He's like, "Oh my God." I fly down to Terry's show and, I actually meet Yaniv for the first time. We had known each other on, Instagram, I think, since 2018, 19. But it was about 5 years until we actually met. He brought some books. I didn't bring anything on purpose because I was just kind of going along for the ride and kind of seeing what was there. I had a friend that I met down there, and he had a backpack full of books that he wasn't really interested in selling. But I told him, I said, you know what? It's very dangerous to bring books that you are attached to and don't really want to sell to do show and tell at a show. I don't do that anymore for obvious reasons. So the two books that he had was a Fantastic Comics #3 and a Marvel Mystery 9. Of course, Marvel Mystery 9 is one of my top 5 all-time books, and probably a book that I try to keep buying all over again as many as I can. And, I have a copy ready, but, he had a slab blue label, and of course I wanted to go home with it. Somehow between Friday and Sunday, people caught wind that, he had those two books amongst others, because that's what people do. We start talking and we start planning in our heads, how can I go home with that book? Well, Yaniv had caught wind that somebody had it, but I don't think he knew at the time that it was a friend of mine. And so when he found out who it was, me and this person were actually walking around the show, and he asked him if he could see it. So he said, sure. So we go to the lobby, he pulls it out, and, he's looking at it, and I'm looking at Yaniv, and I'm like, shouldn't I pulled it out, because here it comes, So next thing I know, Yaniv pulls out a bank envelope and he slams it on the table. He goes, "There's 25 grand right there. I'll buy it from you right now." My friend looks at me. He's like, "Oh my gosh, I told you this is not the right person to show a book if you're attached to a book, because he's going to want it." Between that and the whole deal, somehow I got involved in this. and Yaniv, I got to give it to him, man. He is sharp and witty on the spot. And so somehow he knew that I wanted the Marvel 9 that my friend had. And all of a sudden, my Detective 31 gets pulled into the conversation. I'm like, wait a minute. Why is that book all of a sudden in the conversation? Number one, I don't even have it here. Number two, that thing is locked up at home. I have no intention of getting rid of that. Yaniv knew that he had a book that I've been wanting. That was a Mystic Comics #8. He kind of leveraged all 3 of these books in this deal, and he proposed that I sell/trade my Detective 31 to my other friend, who was looking to upgrade his copy. And in return, he would trade me the Marvel Mystery 9, and he would trade the Fantastic 3 to Yaniv, and then Yaniv would then agree to sell the Mystic 8 to me. This is like 3.5 hours of unprepared negotiations in the hotel lobby. I mean, I walked up, had to get some air. I had to call a friend and try to, make some sense out of this. It was like 3.5 hours, and I was like, oh my gosh, what did I get myself involved in? I looked at all the numbers and the fair market values at the time, and I said, you know what? This is really advantageous to me. I go, on the table, I could not deny the numbers and what I'd be getting at the end of the day. The problem is that I would be getting rid of a book that I only have one copy for, and I'd be getting a book that I already have a copy of, but it's, a nicer looking blue label. So it was like, do I really want to do that? The high pressure sales and transactions and tactics of the Red Skull, Yaniv, we shook on it. The problem was that my other friend was the only one that was not going to go home with anything that day, because I didn't have the Detective, but Yaniv went home with the Fantastic, and I went home with the Marvel. And then me and my other friend, we settled up later. So, and then obviously Yaniv had to ship the Mystic 8 to me. Looking back now, almost 2 years, but now that I made this transaction, I tried to really put the Detective 31 behind me and forget about it. So that was that deal. So fast forward to the day after Independence Day, July 5th, I remember, of this year. And my friend Yaniv calls me again. He goes, "Hey man, you still want a Detective 31 back in your collection? Because I can get one for you. And I'm like, you know what? We just went through this a year and a half ago. You took one from, now you want to put one in my hands? I go, what's it going to cost me now?
You finally accepted letting it go too, so it was tough for you.
Yeah, yeah, and at that point, I was really like trying to divorce myself, because that's how we have to do as collectors, right? If there's something that is rare or very expensive, and like, you know what, that was probably my last copy of Detective 31, the quintessential Batman cover of the Golden Age that I will ever own, I'm okay with it. So this book here is probably one of Yaniv's favorite books, and I've been peddling my copy around, for a few years, and he knows that I've been open to letting it go. So
He's
he
been
goes, you know
teasing
what?
me.
Yeah, so he goes, you know what? If you let that go, I can probably get you a Detective 31 again, a blue label, low grade. I said, okay, it can't hurt to listen. So we had a local friend, a local to me, that was actually one of the big, motivators, is that he had the copy and it was right here in my backyard. And he was wanting to move it because he wanted to use the money to invest in something else. So Yaniv used my book again as leverage to say, well, you know what, I can probably make that happen, but I have to involve another friend to get it to work. I plucked another Mystic Comics from Yaniv's collection. So I broke his 6 through 10 run twice in less than 2 years. The first time was when I took his 8. And to make this deal work, we were a little short. So I said, I want that Mystic 9, that Himmel my head Hitler cover, which I've never owned before.
Great cover.
I could see the stars in his eyes, and the Cap 1 was just, he had to have it. So with some considerations, along with the Mystic 9 and the Detective, I was able to trade him the Cap 1, and then he took care of, he settled up whatever he owed to the other third party. So that deal was probably more equal as far as all the 3 parties involved, as far as, no one was really ahead, I think. I mean, everyone always gets ahead because you get what you want. So yeah, so now I don't have a Cap 1, but I don't miss it. I mean, I like Cap 1, but Detective 31 has proven to be a stronger cover book for me over the years. And owning 4 copies now, I definitely can say that that's a book that I cannot not have in my collection. So congratulations to my friend Yaniv for involving me in 2 of probably the 4 biggest deals in my life, and both of them unexpected transactions.
Hey, they panned out. And I just wanted to add too, because for those who've followed Ben for a while, his original YouTube name, I don't know if it's still the same, it's Tech31 Kid.
Yeah.
So I remember when I was first looking up Golden Age comics and I was trying to find content. Now there's so many great channels, obviously, like Keston's right here, but there wasn't that many back in the day. And when I looked up Schomburg or Golden Age cover or World War II cover, which was, my interest, I didn't find much. And I only found one channel, and it was Tech31 Kid, it was Ben. And I remember seeing I think he showed a Suspense 3 in one of the videos, and a Cap 33, some impressive, Schomburg covers that I'd never seen before, really, because I was just getting into it. I haven't really been to too many shows, so it was pretty amazing to see. And now to actually be here with all of you guys, done a few deals with Ben, it's just kind of bringing it back full circle, and I helped him get a Tech 31 back.
If you want to see more of Ben's ultra rare collection, then check out this video. Thanks so much for watching, and we hope to see you around real soon.